Wait, Gundam, hit me with the shield.
Affirmative.
Oh, jeez!
No hesitation.
Hey guys, it's the Gundam Boy, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Exo Experts Warbond. Obviously, I'm going to be taking a look at it because I am the Gundam Boy, and I'm very curious to see how these mechs feel in-game. You can get the Lumber mech on the second page for 50 medals, and then you can get the Breakthrough mech on the next page for 50 medals as well. Initially, I was mostly excited for the Lumber mech, but after getting my hands on this Warbond, I gotta say, it's not my favorite mech.
Guard versus...
Oh, who fucking threw a hive guard at me? Who threw that piece of paper? But we can get into that a little bit later. But let's take a look at the Lumber stats first. It's explosive, it's a vehicle, it has incendiary, and it's anti-tank. And its cooldown time is 570 seconds. We only got 3 uses. Come on, Arrowhead, uncap this, please. This is pretty straightforward. So the Lumber mech comes with a flamethrower, and if the wiki's correct, it has your basic flame effects and your basic flame damage, with its stream doing 3 fire damage per second. And it has your standard flamer range, being able to hit things around the 20-meter mark, maybe even a bit further. This is your mech's main weapon for dealing with light chaff enemy units that are coming to swarm you. However, you have to keep in mind your mech is limited at extended ranges to only the anti-tank cannon if you're going up against long-range units. Taking a look at its anti-tank cannon, we can see it has the stats of 1,300 damage, and its durable is exactly the same, having an AP level of 6 with a bit of explosive damage tacked on. And this cannon is your one anti-tank solution for dealing with a large group of targets. If you want to take down heavy units with no problem, you'll have to be very precise, as a lot of its damage is in its ballistic. It's actually a fairly good option for taking down top turrets of factory striders in a distance, which allows you to counter one of their best weapons against us mech users. Unlike the Patriot, the Lumber's cannon is a instant delivery, making it so that you don't have to lead your shots as heavily. The Lumber mech offers a more balanced fighting style, giving you the ability to chaff clear enemy units while also sniping at bigger units. Taking the Lumber mech against the recently adjusted spore bugs has been a blast, allowing me to clear out these enemies without setting off too much of their spores. And if you get the angle just right, you can take down those spore titans within 2 shots. And it's not too bad at destroying enemy bot bases in a distance, as it only takes 2 shots to destroy a light fabricator. And I can already imagine how this would fare against all the other factions, with it doing best against bugs and Illuminate, but I could see it struggling against something like the bots, as you only really have the anti-tank cannon to deal with heavy units and mix between. While the Flamer will handle enemies at closer ranges, its only response for long distance fights is the anti-tank cannon. And it's not a perfect mech, so let's take a look at some of its problems. Let's start with the cannon, because I really don't like the way this thing's balanced out for its stats. As you can see, it has only 1,300 for its damage, but I gotta say that's not that far off in terms of damage output to things like the Patriot's missile. For a weapon that is designated as an anti-tanker, it still would take 2 shots from both of these to kill similar enemy units. The only thing that's really upgraded is the time to deliver the projectile, since it's so fast with its anti-tank cannon. But on a technicality, they're pretty much the same weapon. But that's not where the problem stops. Let's talk about the flamethrower. There's a pretty obvious problem with the flamethrower on this mech, and it's that it can't hit anything within 5 feet of it, which means that rushdown units that get right on top of you need to be countered by stepping on them. You're also missing a joint right here. God, this game is just unplayable. How could they? I don't even think I need to explain why the flamethrower not being able to hit at this range is bad. I think it's pretty fucking obvious. I gotta say, I really did like the idea of the Lumber mech being in this game, but in its current layout, it feels a little off to me. It feels like Patriot 2 Electric Boogaloo, which is one of my biggest problems with the mech weapons in general. It just feels like we're always undercutted with our damage output. Like, I could do more damage with the recoilless and kill this guy. Overall, I'm just not as impressed with this mech. It doesn't draw me in as much as the other mech we'll be talking about. Let's talk about the Breakthrough mech, because I gotta say, this mech stole the whole show from the Warbond. And this was the mech that I thought was gonna be kinda like underwhelming, but I actually gotta say, it's a pretty crazy slugger. The Breakthrough is armed with a shotgun that has 40 pellets with damage of 90 and 30 durable, and it's rocking heavy penetration. And this shotgun doesn't play around, allowing you to take down enemies with no problem in close ranges, having a total of 70 shots, which allows you to fire it at least 6 times before you have to reload. And yes, you can fire it pretty fast. And yes, I did say you have to reload it. I know that's a problem for some people, but I could really give less of a shit. And since the Breakthrough has this little Pinar barrel, it means that the spread of this shotgun is pretty wide. If you want to get that consistent damage output, it means you're going to be dancing in close range of enemies. But that's where the giant obvious shield comes into play. It lets me feel like a Gundam. If the wiki's correct here, the shield has about 5,000 health at medium armor, which I gotta say, that's a lot of health for it, which is pretty neat, since it allows you to absorb some damage when you're moving up on enemy targets. Gotta say, in regards for it being a shield, it does a pretty good damn job at blocking the damage. It allows you to play a bit more offensively without worrying about getting too much damage in return. But he doesn't just protect, he can also attack. And its heavy pen melee is capable of demolishing buildings in its way. And even allows you to knock out War Striders. Oh, dude, I just rock sucked them! Which makes it a great counter option for light chaff enemies that get too close to your mech. Which lets you get your revenge on behemoth chargers. How you like that?
I can't.
How do you like it? 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 You can even utilize this shield to help block those attacks from their charge. Overall, on the bug front, it got me feeling like...
Problems. Anything that moves.
The shotgun is really powerful, the shield is great, but there is still problems with this mech as well. It looks like there is some sort of clipping going on with the arms of the mech, which means the shield isn't properly protecting in certain areas. And now this isn't a light pen weak point on the shield, this is me directly hitting the arms of the mech, which doesn't affect a lot of the segments of the mech's shield, but there are two specific spots that can deal damage to it. We have this corner right here dealing damage to the arm, and then we have the center of the shield, which I actually killed the arm, which gives you a better example of where it's going through. Do I even need to say why this is a problem for this mech? If I was going up against a base cannon and it hit this small part of the shield, that would be game over for my arm, negating the whole point of having a shield. When the shield breaks, it's supposed to still have its arm behind, which allows you to do some melee. And I'd also like to note there is a bit of a learning curve with knowing how to angle this shield, but it's a shame you have to angle it towards the enemies where the light pen weak points go through. And let's talk about the rest of the mech for a second, because while the shield is strong and can absorb a lot of damage if it was working properly, it's still attached to a shit box of a mech. It's like taking the shield from Sir Fuckafist over here and slapping it onto a gym. The shield's great, but the rest of the part of the mech is a little weak. You don't die anymore if your legs break, which was a major flaw in its design since it only had 250 health. The arms on it are still light pen, which only really screws it on the bot front. Since the bots have a variety of explosive and artillery at their disposal, the mechs perform a little bit better, but they still fit the Arrowhead ideology of being a brief power-up than anything else. So, are these mechs cool? Yes. Are they worth it being in a Warbond? I don't know, not in their current state. Look, I like mechs a lot, and when you have something like a close quarter combat mech just be like the base frame with a shield and a shotgun, it's kind of immersion dumping. Like, I really thought they missed out on the opportunity to make like a very close quarter centered mech, but it really is just kind of like the rest of the mechs copied and pasted with different arms. I think there's a little bit more I want to talk to you guys about, and not through the JPEG on the screen. Hello, it's the Gundam face. I gotta be 100% with you guys. This Warbond is cool, but that's pretty much it. I think it's been kind of exhausting making this video, and I usually put a lot of effort in this for Helldivers content because I really enjoy playing the game. But I think the repetition of, I don't know, weird adjustments for the game makes it a little difficult for me to want to continue making videos solely on Helldivers. This Warbond is a tough one. It's just, you know, we have bugs with the mechs. I'll give them the benefit. That upgrade to the mechs not dying at the legs was great. They increased the main health, but there is still more that they could do with the mechs. The overall adjustments, I don't really think helps too much in the lifespan of things. I'm not gonna be like overly negative, say the game's dead and, you know, it's over for everybody, but it's getting kind of stale. Like the release of Warbonds coming in over and over and over again is kind of exhausting, and I'm getting kind of tired of just waiting for the next Warbond. I'll have to say, the devs have definitely made this game crawl out of a weird space, but the cycle is getting kind of concerning. There's a lot of systems in the game, like mechs, that missed out on getting some love, and sure, the most recent buff makes them really useful against the bugs and the Illuminate. That's pretty much where it stands. And I love making videos on Helldivers, but I'm sure you could tell in this recent video, I'm pretty goddamn exhausted. I'm pretty tired. I'm just not fond of the direction that the game has been going in for a while, and I think it's only really been felt now. Guys, you ready for the next Warbond? And then you guys play for it with probably 3 weeks at most, and then you went through all the Warbond, and now you're waiting again for the next Warbond, and then, yeah. So the cycle continues. I am a propaganda commander. I know things about the game that I can't even talk about because it's NDA. And I really wish that the devs would utilize us players in the propaganda commander scene, like me and Commissar Kai, as resources more often. We do things in the game that break it. We can find those bugs. It's not that hard. We've found out the shield. Like, it took me 5 minutes to find out the shield did that. It didn't really take that long. It literally within one game, my arm disappeared, and I was just like, that's not normal. I could already even tell you, like, the moment I got in the lumber and fired the flamethrower at close range, I was like, hey, it's not working properly. What's wrong with it? Like, the devs are so focused on weapon balance and all these other things. I wish there was just some more focus on the galactic war. So yeah, there's things like quality of the game that bothers me. There's progression with the game that's bothered me. And I am getting bored. And as a person who touches grass and kisses his girlfriend and goes outside, I'm going to start playing other games because it's just the normal flow of things. Game gets stale, play different game. Which is why you'll never see me side with a glazer or a wine diver, because I just don't have the energy in my life to complain about a video game. I can give as much criticism and feedback as possible in my videos, but if the devs don't listen and the devs go with what they want, that's on them if the game goes downwards. I think as a community, we could do a lot. We can get the devs to listen and we can get them to talk with us. We still got to be a little bit professional. A lot of us love this game, but I think a lot of us need to learn to manage our emotions. Open up the game and go, oh, the devs, I hate them. Oh! They're not going to listen to you. You just kind of lost your opinion right there. They just think you're some crazy babbling idiot. I think at the end of the day, there's a lot the devs need to work on right now. And if they want to maintain a good standing with the community, they should make some changes pretty quickly. But that is the end of my video. I will see you guys next time.